How you going? My name's Anthony.C and today I've got a cracker of a tip. Come here. So, today I'm going to show you a pretty handy little trick I use on the jointer. You might be new to woodwork, you have a jointer, you might be experienced and you've got one of these bad boys and you think, why in the bloody hell does this always happen to me? I put a square on my fence and my boards aren't marrying up nice. Now you could flip one board, you could, but then you got to keep track of which edge you've done what and why you did it that way and what surface went there, and it's just too much of a headache. So on this, I never use a square to make sure it's square. This is how I do it. So I'll put you in a bit closer and you'll just run them through. I've done a face, I've done an edge. You've put a square on there and you're like, she's sweet. You go to bottom up and you're like, shit, that's a big gap. Now, like I said, you could turn around and do this, but that gives you two problems. One, if you haven't got it biscuited, it's going to force your timber to slide as you clamp it with the glue, because your glue is like a lubricant. If you keep it this way and you clamp it, you're going to be, unless you're actually after an angled or a raised wobbled panel, it's kind of useless. But this is how I get out of it. On my fence, so right here, on my fence, I basically, I know it's got a stop on it, but it does move out from time to time. Let me just run it back to where it was set and I'll show you the sense in my madness. Explain it to you just a little bit. So, as you can see now, that's pulled in nicely. No gaps, it's perfect, and I know I've probably said that I've got that set so I know it's square, but this is how I do it. I will buzz 2 bits of timber on whatever stock I'm doing, do a face, do an edge on both of them, and before I even begin milling anything else, I will press 2 pieces together, and 9 times out of 10, especially once I've changed the blades, I'll have a tiny gap there. So all I do is, if I've got a gap and it's touching on this back edge, I would obviously tilt this fence back slightly and then pass through the 2 pieces again until that edge is nice and square. And seriously, I'd never use a square. It's handy not to use a square. It's one more thing that I end up having to spend how you going? It's one more thing I have to spend half an hour, an hour looking for. So I keep my tools on my bench and I just use my outfeed or infeed table or a flat surface as a reference point, and then see how the 2 edges actually meet. And if you're thinking, well, that's only a 45mm stock there, what happens if you were machining 100mm? Well, then basically it's a matter of this, and I'll show you. Tip it on its edge, and bang, they both marry up. So they're square. If they weren't square, it would be. And here's the thing: sometimes you might be sitting there using it. You trust your square, everything's sweet. You set it up square. You put your square on there, and you're like, it's square, but maybe your square's not square. So at least this way we're taking out another tool that we don't need to have here, and you can set yourself up with perfect joints, get your faces and your edges all perfectly square, run them through the thicknesser. By the time you hit the workbench, you're just gluing up. It's one process to eliminate a million other processes. So I hope you enjoyed that cracker of a tip. It's just something that I've done since I was a wee pup, so I figured I'd share it with you. It's not a bogus method. It does work. It's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of scratching your head. What's going on? And yeah, give it a crack. Give it a try. You might come back and say, I tried it. It's awesome. So, in saying so, if you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It just lets me know that I'm giving you the content that you need to hone your skills and make your life a little bit easier. And obviously it lets other people know that I'm doing the right thing too. So, and feel free to share this video with other woodworkers, as it's a tiny issue that I know a lot of you would probably have, and it's just a matter of understanding what you've got and how to get around it. And finally, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll be having more useful cracking and ripping tips coming on a weekly basis, and I've got a couple of good builds coming along as well. So that's me for now. I'm out. Catch ya.